Hey everyone, it's Kyle from Kool Collectibles, back again for another Masterpiece Transformers review, this time the long-awaited MP-21 Bumblebee. For all your Transformer needs, click the link in the description below to head on over to Robot Kingdom. They ship worldwide, so definitely check them out. Just a quick look at the box art, so it's the standard Masterpiece design. Love the VW official license there, so I'm definitely glad they finally managed to do it. With the prototype version of Bumblebee, you see the sharp horns there, which have been rounded off in the final production version, which I'll show you guys in a second, which is a bit disappointing, but I guess it's not a big deal in the scheme of things. And there's the spike in the exosuit. Back of the box art you get the usual photos of the figure and so on, and pretty much every vehicle has that shot with them coming out of the MP-10 trailer. And some more art on the side. So get that out of the way, onto the contents themselves. So you get Bumblebee, of course, which I'll get into in a second. Because I got these from Robot Kingdom, they always give the exclusive coins and accessories and so on. So here's the Bumblebee coin, which is very nicely done. It's got a gold sheen to it, and the design is pretty sweet. So I don't need the packaging because I display them on coin easels, so I'll be ripping this out shortly and giving you guys a look at all the coins up close in another video. But this one does look pretty damn nice. You get the collector card, and I'm definitely glad this is the design that I prefer, not the MP-22 Ultra Magnus sort of stylized artwork. I wish they had stuck to this for MP-22, but not to be. But that does look pretty sweet. You get the spare tire, which you pretty much just pull the back of this number plate off. If I can actually get my fingernails in there, and it leaves a little hole there, and you pretty much just slot it in like so. I'm not sure if, I can't actually remember if it looked like that in the cartoon or not, or if that was some homage to the G1 toy, but there you have it. The side mirrors, you get this piece similar to Wheeljack. You get a spare, and you just fit it in on the left side there, which it only goes on one side since I guess the VWs only had it on one side. You also get Spike in the exosuit, which is the most disappointing part of it is definitely the head sculpt, which is not very detailed at all, similar to the little figures that came with Ultra Magnus. So I'm not sure if Dr. Wu or someone like that is actually putting out replacements heads that seem to be a lot better painted. So we'll see how that goes, and I'll transform this little guy in a second. You get his little laser gun, which is nicely painted and molded, and I was actually surprised it came with a gun, because we kept hearing, rumors and stories about how VW wouldn't release figures if they were war related and so on, and so I thought it would come without a pistol, but it has, so that's pretty cool. You get the usual instruction manual, and you get the little instruction manual for this Amazon exclusive battle face. And so he does come with 3 face plates. So the default one that comes with the figure is the sort of not sad, not smiling face. Fairly benign, really. Now there's a reason why I've got all of them off, because as part of the transformation, which I'll show you in a bit, I would actually recommend, if you're going to leave the car in alt mode, you really should take off the faceplate before you make that transformation, and I'll get to that in a little bit. Here's the smiling faceplate, which is the one that I'll be using, and the paint app is fairly nice. I would have preferred a bit of silver, which this version has, which is the battle mask. So I love that they've used this as an exclusive to, I guess, pay homage to the G1 toy, which had this particular sort of face. And the swap out feature is pretty Pretty easy once you get a feel for it, but it can get a little fiddly. You do need a bit of fingernail trickery, so I'll show you guys that in a second. But I'll get on to transforming this guy and be back with you guys in a second. The transformation for Spike is actually a little more involved than I thought it was going to be, which I guess is nice for a masterpiece figure. So what you do is you pretty much just take that off to start and bend his head back, which he would be looking forward in that sort of orientation, and then just rotate that so the sides are at the front there now. You then just use this peg here and peg the feet in, and you just sort of rock it up so that this little joint here goes into the hole that you see right there, so it fits in like so. And then these arms, you pretty much just fold them out like that, and then push them up. And then these things here, I think you then open them up in this direction, so you just open those out like so. Open those out, and then this whole piece here folds down, so you just fold that all the way down like that. And once you fold those out, you can then pull these apart like that. Nice that they've got those little tabs there for you to get your fingernails on. And then here you then take the wheels out, if I can flick them out. So just rotate the wheels out, rotate the wheels out, and then looking at it from this end, you pretty much fold that into there. And I think there is a peg which you can see there, there's a hole there and a peg on the side, so you just peg that in like so. So you just sort of rotate that around, get that lined up. Oh, it's popped out. There you go. And I think you just fold those down a little bit and peg that all into place, so it looks like that. And then at the back here you fold these wheels out, so if you can sort of get your hands in there, they're on like a double hinge here, so you just rotate those around, and then just get that out. If I can actually get it out of that joint, there you go, and rotate that around. And you can peg those in actually, so there's a little peg there and a hole there, so you peg those in like so, and then you flip these down, I think. Which way does that go? No, you then rotate them around, sorry. So you then rotate those down and rotate that down as the wheels, and then you just fold those up to close that at the top. And I think that is pretty much it. So the face, when you put the helmet on, it sort of pushes the head back down again, but other than that, it's a pretty nice and neat transformation, and it does roll fairly well. So there you have Spike, but I'll get on to Bumblebee right now. Before I do the transformation, I'll just give you guys a quick size comparison with the other MPs in alt mode. So here he is with Tiger Track, and really I think it's probably a little undersized in alt mode, because in real life the scale of the VW I think is definitely slightly larger than that. I think it's almost the same length as the Countach itself, so a bit smaller in size there. Here he is up against the MP-10 mold. So I guess the smaller size isn't too bad. Here he is with the Nissan. So I guess based off of the cartoon, it's probably as close as to what I can remember anyway, so that's not too bad in itself. So a little bit undersized, but just a fairly minor nit to pick on that one. Just a few notes on the alt mode itself. People were complaining that it didn't really match the real life VW Bug that much, with the snout being too long, but from online pictures that I've seen, it is pretty accurate to the real life models that are out there. The wheels are pretty accurate as well, and nice and thin. The paint application on this side isn't too bad, but on this side you can see a bit of paint slop on the silver there, but that's fairly minor. The paint app overall is pretty good. You can tell some of the differences between the areas that are plastic and the areas that are painted. So I think you can tell from the I guess in hand you can tell much clearer than you can probably see on my viewfinder here, or on the video. This middle section here that spins out, you can clearly tell that there's a difference between the paint app here and there, where this is, I think this is clearly painted, but that's more like a plastic. And I guess there might be some areas where the paint's not quite as thick as it should be. So there's probably a spot there that you might not be able to see, that you can sort of see through to the underlying surface. But overall, the paint app is pretty good. In initial comments, I heard that people were complaining that the color was very orange, but in hand, I don't quite see what the problem is. It looks pretty yellow and pretty decent to me. So, and I love the detail in the lights there, and the little color indicators on the turning indicators there, and the VW symbol clearly marked on there as well, which is nice. It rolls fairly nicely, so there's a pretty good clearance, even though it has this the section at the back. And overall, it looks pretty good. I think there are a couple of features for the underside here. I think you can store the gun. I might just quickly show that. I think you store the gun just like that in there. Not sure why you would bother doing that, but there you go. And I think you can also put the spare wheel just slot it in there, just as you would if you slotted it in there. The lines themselves, it seems to hold together fairly well. Everything plugs in fairly securely, and you can sort of adjust it just as you would most of the other MP cars, so you can sort of see gaps here and there, but not much that you can really do about that. Probably the worst thing is just this seam line on the door here, which I guess isn't too noticeable from some angles, and I guess it is a crucial part of the transformation, so probably not much they could do about that. But anyway, on to the transformation. Just before I do that though, I just wanted to make a note. You might have noticed earlier in the review when I was showing the car off, it had the Autobot symbol here, so I had to sort of do a quick transformation just to be able to flip that back, because in this mode here you can't actually turn that around due to the internals in there, which I didn't know. And so as I was trying to push it through and it wouldn't rotate, I probably did chip off a couple of little tiny red marks on the Autobot insignia. So just be very careful that you can't spin this around in its full alt mode. You have to get to a certain point in the transformation where there's clearance inside, and then you can change it across. So just something to be aware of. Alright, so with the transformation you start off by just releasing the doors here. So you just try and unpeg it like so, and do the same on the other side, which can get a little tight, but there you go. And then you just fold that whole section out, and on the other side you see that the legs are folded in, so you pretty much just extend them out fully like that, and then you just separate that out, which can be a bit tight, so just be careful of the paint. So just unsnap that. So there's a peg there that you see that pegs into the hole here, so you just need to break that open. And as I was saying before, everything pegs in, so the doors here are pegged in on the side there, so you just unpeg that out and rotate that down, and the same on this side, unpeg it out and rotate it down. Then you can fold the legs in, the wheels in, sorry. So you fold those wheels in, and then the doors, because of that gap here or the line there, you just fold them all the way around. So you just fold that gently across, and then you can see that there is a peg there that goes into that little gap right there. So everything nicely pegs in, and do the same on this side, and that pegs in right there. So that is pretty much the lower legs done. Now this bottom, what's next? The arms. You can then unpeg these arms from the top here, so they're pegged in there. So you just unpeg that and unpeg that, and then just fold the arms out like so. Like so. One part that I've forgotten to do already is this flap here squeezes in into that gap there, which is a nice way for it to hide that panel. So if I just fold that down like that and spin that in there, you just need to be careful to clear that little black plastic thing there, and then you pretty much just bring that back in and round, and you can see that the panel, the yellow panel in there, just slides in into that slot. So that's a pretty cool transformation section there. And these arms just swing out like so, and you can then separate the arms like that, and separate it from this side. It's already separated, and then these sections here just go in right along there. So you just fold, if I get that, you just fold that in like that, and again on this side you just fold it in like that, and they pretty much just clip in by friction, I think. And then the arms, you just rotate the arms around. So you rotate around, and then these little panels on the side here is on a double hinge, so you just fold that down and cover that plate there. So again, double hinge, rotate that around and fold it up like that. The backpack, let me just so the backpack, you fold that up. Now this is a point I was trying to make before. With this head, you will notice that I don't have the faceplate on, because as you have this up here like that, as you see, it pushes right up against the top of the chest here, and if you had one of the faceplates on, it's the clearance between the faceplate and the top edge here is next to nothing. And so I've seen cases where the paint has chipped off here on either the faceplate or the chin area here, there, the top of the chest. And so what I found was, if you take the faceplate off, then there's no problem in doing that. Otherwise, with the faceplate on, the face just doesn't have that clearance, and you just really need to force it up, which is something I wouldn't recommend doing if you're going to keep the car in alt mode. So once you get that out the way, you then just rotate the backpack around like so, and then you can untab this section, and just be careful you don't snap that bumper off, and then you just fold that down like that, and then this whole section comes down. You'll see that there is a peg there that fits into the gap right there. So if you just continue that down, and it pegs in, so it's not particularly tight, but it's a nice clean fit like that. So to just unpeg it, you just pull that up like that. So that's a fairly nice fit, and then you can lift the head up like so, and there you have it. Oh, and for the arms, you just swing out the fists like that on the side, swing out the fists, and oh, the last bit of course is the chest. Now I really don't like this design because you need to get your fingers in there and push it in, so there's always a risk of scratching the paint or something, so you pretty much just stick your finger in there and you'll see the panel come out, and there's like a tiny little ledge, and so you're just going to need to get your fingernail in there if I can, and swing that around to reveal the Autobot symbol. So that is pretty much the transformation. So with the face plates, I'll just, which one is this one? So this is the smiling one, which I normally will use, and so it's got 2 pegs on there, and there's 2 holes that you can see in there, and you just fit that in and push it in all the way, and there you have it. So to get it off, they were kind enough, I guess, to leave you a tiny little line there, so you can get your fingernail in there and try and squeeze it in from under the chin as well. But you can see that here's the sort of placid look, and here's the battle look. The battle look is actually a nice silver color. I wish the standard face was silver as well, but not to be. Articulation wise, the figure's actually pretty good. You can sort of raise the shoulders up a bit here and just give him his shoulder line like so. The fingers don't articulate on this particular figure, so it's just the hole, and you just fit the gun in like so. But he has a great range of motion in the legs. There's, you know, clearance all over the place, so you can have, you know, his legs like that doing the splits, jumping over the air. You can bend his knees up that way, which would look a bit crazy, but you can bend them all the way back as well, quite a long distance. And there is the ankle rocking action, which is beautiful. And his arms, so you get the I guess the swivel there, and the elbow. It's not a double jointed elbow, so it pretty much just goes as far as that, but that's not too bad. And the head itself rotates fairly well. So that is pretty much it. From the back, it doesn't look too bad. People were complaining about the backpack, but you know, it has to go somewhere, so I don't think it, in the scheme of things, it's not too bad at all. And from the front, that's the best sort of looking G1 Bumblebee that I've ever seen anyway. I think it looks fantastic. He is small, and apparently the scale is pretty accurate according to the Takara scale chart. But yeah, he definitely is quite a bit smaller. I might just grab some of the others and give you guys a quick size comparison. Here he is set up in my cabinet with the other MPs, and I gotta say I'm really liking the change in scale. So I'm going from the Minibot size to the Autobot troops, and then the leadership team. So the change in scale and just the variety in the cast now is just taking this masterpiece line really to levels that I never expected, and I'm just happy to be a G1 Transformers fan right now. So along with, you know, some of the Decepticons and even all the repaints with Grimlocks and King Grimlock and so on. You know, I never thought I'd get into the repaints, but even the repaints for the key cast, I'll end up getting all of them, I think. So you know, there are rumours for Ironhide and Ratchet and Hound, you know, even Jazz. Now that they've got the VW license, hopefully they do Jazz and Cliffjumper. Cliffjumper was a Porsche, so it's not going to be a repaint of Bumblebee, but if they could just retool it somehow and create some more of the mini-bots and so on, it'll really pad out this season 1 and 2 cast and make this line something for the ages, I reckon. So that's pretty much it. Hope you guys like that look at MP-21 Bumblebee. Hope you can click that subscribe button. I've got more Transformers reviews coming up later in 2015 with the deluxe wave of the Combiner Wars, and hopefully there will be some MP announcements soon. So thanks again, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Cheers. Bye.